Hey, this is Felix.
Hi, it's Alfred.
Welcome to 4 Decades Apart. In this video, we would like to talk about the BC gasoline price. This topic has been a pretty popular topic recent years, and we discovered that as a Vancouverite, we have been seeing the gasoline price has been fluctuating a lot, and the price has been much higher than a lot of other places that we went. So we did a little bit research, and we want to show you a graph in the beginning of this video here. Here it is. So in this graph, as you can see, the blue line indicates the retail price of the gasoline in British Columbia versus in the red line, we have the retail price from the Alberta. So there are two observations here, as we can see. One is the trend on the fluctuation is very similar over the 2 years, as well as the gap between British Columbia and Alberta is roughly between 10 cents to as much as 30 cents actually between British Columbia and Alberta. We want to really know more about what exactly causing this fluctuation, as well as the price gap, what causes that. In fact, there is a new report coming out from BCUC, which is British Columbia Utilities Commission. They have recently released a report called the Gasoline and Diesel Price Inquiry in August 2019. And we dig really deep into that report and point out a few points we want to talk about that we can explain why these two things, the fluctuation as well as the gap, why there is that in there.
According to the report, there are a few factors contributing to fluctuations. Let us talk about it one by one. Mm-hmm. The first one is the refinery assets. What does it mean? It says that in BC we have only 2 refineries, one in Prince George and one just in Burnaby near us. Yes. Okay. Even we have 2 refineries, but the capacity are only 30% of the crude oil coming in. Mm-hmm. The 70% will go to other refineries either in Alberta or in California or the neighboring states,
Right.
And they find out these assets doesn't affect the fluctuation at all.
Right.
Okay. The second point is about storage. We need a lot of space to store the refined gasoline, and they don't think the storage is a problem. We have sufficient space to store all the refined oil right now. Right. So that again is not a major reason of fluctuation. Then we come to the third point, is about the refinery and the pipeline capacity. We always complain the pipelines are not big enough or not large, or the capacity is not large enough to supply enough crude oil for refinery. Right. And the report said it doesn't affect the fluctuation at all. Okay. I don't know why, but it is the finding is like that. Mm-hmm. Then another point is about seasonal variations. Again, the report said even though in winter, summer, or in other seasons, it doesn't really affect the fluctuation that much. Our only factor they find which affects the fluctuation is because of the players. There are only 4 players in the whole of BC. They are Imperial Oil, Parkland, Suncor, and Shell. And these 4 players dominate 90% of the market, no matter it's in wholesale or in retail.
Right.
90% are under their control. So it says it is a factor causing the fluctuations.
Yes, gotcha.
And also the other point is all the primary terminals. When the oil is refined, they have to store in some terminals before they can distribute to the retailing stations. All these primary terminals are controlled by these 4 players. So according to the report, it seems the only reason is that there's some kind of monopoly in the market.
In fact, in the report, There is also a part of the report that talks about the transparency of how these prices set.
I see.
Right. And in fact, what we found is that the jurisdictions such as California, they require the refiners, producers, transporters, marketers, pipeline and terminal operators, all these, key parts of getting gas to the market. They need a report on, product volumes, transportation modes, and all sorts of where these sources are coming from on a weekly, monthly, and annual
Weekly
basis.
basis?
Yeah.
Oh my
that's right.
God.
That's what it says in the report. And
we don't have any of this.
we probably don't have any of these.
Okay.
Yes. So that's another thing that, just a note of that.
So the people practically, I have no idea how this oil price affected by these small details. Huh?
There's one part of the report that we found very interesting. It says there is an unexplained difference in wholesale prices of approximately 13 cents per liter between Metro Vancouver and the US Pacific Northwest. And the higher price differential cannot be explained by economic theory or justified by known factors in the market.
I think there should be some explanation, but I don't know why the report avoid mentioning it. Say, for example, land could be a factor.
Right.
It's obvious that our land prices are much more expensive than Alberta.
Right.
And these rent factors will affect a lot on the retail prices. So it could be a substantial factor, although there's no detailed study on that. But I think land could be a...
So any gas station that you see there, it needs a land, and because the land you have to pay for it, because the land is more expensive than the other provinces, that's why. It could be a contribution why.
Yeah. Our land is obviously more expensive than Alberta, than Washington or Oregon,
Gas station is just an example, like refineries and all that, everything.
Yeah, everything.
That needs to...
When you operate the whole supply chain, you got to have land.
Right.
So land is could be a significant factor, but I don't know why the report doesn't go into details about it. In addition to that, I think there are two more major reasons why our gasoline are more expensive. One is obvious, is the tax.
Right.
Maybe you can explain a little bit on our tax structure on the gasoline.
Yeah, of course. So what we found, there's a little comparison that we do of between every cents per liter that is sold in Alberta versus in British Columbia. There is a differences in tax. And overall, the local public transit levy in British Columbia, there is almost about 10 cents difference between BC and Alberta. So BC actually costs 10 cents more.
In terms of tax?
In terms of tax per liter. The major difference is in carbon tax.
Oh.
There is a 7.78 cents per liter in carbon tax that is being charged in BC versus in Alberta, there is none of them.
Okay. So that already explained out of the 13 cents, 7.78 cents is from carbon tax.
Right.
So what is the remaining 6% or 5 point something percent? Where did this difference go to?
We didn't have much findings, but we could have a little,
I would say it's plainly the result of a monopoly. It's some kind of an abnormal profit. I mean, in terms of economic theory, when you have a monopoly, all this monopolized operation would get an abnormal profit. And that 5 point something cents per liter is their abnormal profit. And I believe it is not only applied to BC, actually it applies all over the world. Because all over the world, all these gas giants are somehow a monopoly.
Yes.
I have my hometown, Hong Kong, is the same thing. Their oil prices are so high that the government cannot do anything and dare not to do anything to stop that. And therefore, we suffer from a very expensive gasoline prices in Hong Kong as well. So it's not a unique problem to BC, it's a general problem all over the world.
So what are some suggested solutions out of all these observation and discussion that we have with what we see in the report? Like, are there any suggested solution that you would
Well,
say?
I won't say it's a solution, but it's some kind of insight on the possibility of controlling it. The report suggests that we may have a regulating policy. What is meant by that is that in some other neighboring states, they have some kind of a government regulation that they control the prices or the gasoline prices.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a solution to that, and increase the transparency of the gasoline supplies and logistics and all these things may help. I don't know. And then also the ultimate solution may be to add more refinery facilities. Because right now, in fact, in the whole of the West Coast, the capacity of refinery plants are already up to the maximum. If there's any things happen, like of course there's a storm coming in and disrupt one of the refineries, then we will suffer from fluctuation. Or one of them shut down for maintenance, same reason, then we will have a fluctuation in prices. So increase the refinery capacity would be a way out. And also, once you increase the refinery capacity, we can introduce some more small players,
Right.
increase competition. Then the fluctuation may be a level out. But we have to wait for the government to all make this decision. It's not just a simple so-called the commercial decision.
Yes.
It's a come out of policy, government policy, to implement it.
So these are just some of the suggestions that we have, not saying like, hey, we have to implement this or is this the absolute solution, but we think that these are some of the views that we can start looking at to
Well,
help
I
with
think
the
it's a
situation.
bit long-term views.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you introduce a new refinery, probably need I don't know, 3-4 years to build one.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan now, then you don't have it in 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And if oil continue to fluctuate like that in the future. Well, actually, I think of one solution. Use hybrid cars.
Use less.
Yeah, use less gasoline and well, actually, it is also a very environmental friendly. You know, if you use less gasoline, less fossil fuels,
Yeah.
it's good to the environment. So maybe another solution is using electric.
Less gas, basically.
Less,
Vehicles that use less gas.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
If you guys know anything more about this topic, and if you know something that we didn't talk about and we didn't cover, that might also contribute to the fluctuation as well as why British Columbia's retail price of the gasoline price are higher than the other states, let us know in the comment below. We really, really want to know more. All right, so that's it for this video. If you guys love the topics that we're covering in terms of social issues, environmental issues, that's what we're focusing on. Go ahead and subscribe our channel as well as clicking on the bell button of this video so that you guys can get the notification when a new video comes out. And don't forget to share this video to the rest of your family, to the rest of your friends, so that they get to know more about these issues and how we could discuss and how we could collaborate to understand more about these social issues as well as environmental issues. So yeah, that's it.
That's it today.
Well, thank you for watching and we'll see you on the next video.
Yeah, see you.
See you. Bye.